What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, we're gonna be diving into a new project. And I know, before you say it, what about the Chevelle? Y'all are asking, don't worry, we're still working on it. We have a full custom interior coming in for this thing. But before we get that interior, we're kind of dead in the water. So while we have our hands free, why not start a new job? So right here, we got a 1962 Chevy C10 step-side short bed. This thing is basically all original, man. So you know what that means. All this old crusty stuff's gonna come out, and we're gonna be putting in a whole brand new full interior. And under the hood, we have an inline six, just like the Travelall, which means we're gonna be throwing in this LS 6.2. The plan is to keep it naturally aspirated, but we're kind of thinking about maybe throwing a supercharger on it. So you guys let us know what you think. Should we keep it NA? Should we throw a Whipple on it? I think Whipple, but y'all tell us what y'all think. For now, we got this awesome fabricated intake by Holley, and to accompany this beautiful polished billet, we have more shiny bits.
It's a billet accessory drive from Wagner.
Accessories.
Accessorize. We're gonna accessorize the entire engine. Complete kit from Wagner. Comes with everything that you need to make the accessory drive complete. Pumps, belts, accessories, dampener from ATI, all the hardware, stainless steel, billet pulleys. These are a beautiful kit. They fit great. We've used them before.
We use this on Cha-Ching, and we use it in the Chevelle LS swap that we did. It works and it looks sharp, so that's a double banger.
Continuing on with our billet aluminum theme, we have a Boyd's Welding aluminum fabricated tank. It's got a billet aluminum hat that has a Aeromotive 340 liter per hour pump in it. We are very familiar with the Aeromotive brand. We've used their products on a handful of our builds. The F100 and also Ching actually had an A1000 pump in it. This tank is specifically made for the 62 truck, so it's gonna fit perfectly right between the frame rails. It's already got mounting bracketry welded to the side of the tank.
So plug and play, man. All we gotta do is hook up some lines to it and she's ready to go.
Moving on, a couple more engine parts. So internally, we're gonna change the engine as well. We're gonna upgrade the camshaft to a TIC performance cam. This is supposed to be used without upgrading your stall converter, but you'll still be able to get the same lift and that same awesome chop and performance that you're gonna expect from a camshaft from them. To go along with the camshaft, we have all the valve train products that you're gonna need. We have trunnion upgrades, new valve springs. Engine management's gonna be run with a factory ECU with a PSI conversion harness. Also in the wiring department, we have MSD ignition coil wires. We're gonna be using MSD ignition coils as well. Paintless wiring is gonna be removing all of our crusty wiring that's in this 62 truck.
That's a tip from a pro, man. If you guys are updating a truck or a car, it's a classic. Start over with the wiring, man.
We're gonna be putting LED lighting all in the exterior of the car. These are Holley Retro Bright headlights. Also, we have a big Frostbite radiator right here. So this is actually a direct fit dual pass radiator, fabricated end tanks, meant for an LS. So it's got our steam port delivery here, and it's also got a trans cooler as well. That's gonna keep the temps right where we need them. We have all our fluid delivery products that we're gonna be using, all Vibrant Performance. Everything from our fuel lines, our fuel fittings, silicone couplers, hard tubing, intake piping, all Vibrant Performance. Their product line is extensive. Anything that you need for fluid transfer, they have it.
That's enough to get the truck down the road. Now let's talk about the aesthetics and the interior of this thing, man. We live in Florida, it's hot. So we're going back with Resto Mod Air. This is one of their bigger kits. This is the Haymaker. It's got plenty of outlets on this side over here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outlets, defrost, AC. We're stoked about this. You guys have seen us use these billet controls and vents many times. However, you've never seen us use the black ones, man. These are the same vents that we just used and the same controls that we just used in the Travelall. The Travelall has the brush look. We went with the black to match the Dakota digital dash that I picked out. I think that's gonna be the vibe in the truck on the interior. We're gonna do a full TMI bench seat. I'm thinking a dark brown. Andrew's thinking black. Jumping back outside to the exterior. This thing is gonna be slammed on the ground. right? Not like the Travelall. That thing was slammed, but not on the ground. This thing's gonna be laying frame, man. So you won't be able to put a business card in between that rocker and the concrete. We're going back with the Detroit Steel Company. We love their wheels. We love the people that are involved with the company. If you haven't heard of them, go over to their website, check them out. They have some awesome stuff. Not only do they build wheels, they also build cars right in Detroit. So made in America. This right here is a 20-inch ambassador style wheel. One component that you don't see laid out here is our full Porterbuilt chassis components. So just like Cha-Ching, we did a full Porterbuilt setup. You got our front and rear drop member, C-notch, Watts link, hood hinges, everything that you need to convert this thing over to lay frame on air. With the air system, we're going back with Airlift Performance. We got the Airlift Performance management system and the Builder Series shocks. This is about all we need to get started on this thing. The first step is gonna be taking this thing apart. Andrew, you ready?
Hello.
Let's call in the boys.
Circuits today.
I remember my first time driving stick shift.
While Kalel's getting that truck on the lift, let's talk a minute about this week's sponsor. This week's episode is sponsored by Exter. If you've been watching our channel, you've probably seen us talking about Exter's game-changing wallets. You know, the ones that are like Switchblade for your credit cards. Well, they don't just make wallets. Last week at LS Fest, I got to try out this Weekender duffel bag, and I was blown away. This thing is made from rip-proof canvas with Italian leather accents. So it looks good, but it also stands up to the abuse. They even included a laptop sleeve on the side, as well as a shoe compartment to keep your muddy kicks away from the rest of your clothes. These Exter bags and wallets have an amazing build quality, but they take it one step further by backing their gear with a 12-month warranty on all their products. So before you hit the road on your next weekend trip, make sure you hit that link in our description or use the code Salvage at checkout to get 25% off your next order. Now let's get back to ripping apart that C10.
All right, Chloe, what are you doing over here, bud?
So instead of trying to unbolt and take off all these rusty nuts, I'm just gonna go ahead and chop them off, make it easier for myself.
Kalel's got rusty nuts!
Because at the end of the day, we could just replace them with brand new fresh bolts.
When in doubt, cut it out.
About to get this bed off of here so that we can pressure wash this chassis, because as you can see, she's pretty crusty. So I'm trying my best to degrease and get all this nasty crud off of here. First up, we're gonna get this bed off. Let's get it up in the air.
All right, we've been working pretty hard on this 62. As you see, we got the truck completely tore down. We got the cab sitting over here on our aluminum table. We got the bed all disassembled with a whole bunch of goodies sitting inside of that. We also got the frame back on the lift because today we need to go ahead and get out the whole front suspension, this whole clip up here. We also have to remove all the rear end suspension, the rear end, the shocks, everything off there, so that we can start working on our Porterbuilt front and rear drop member. Kalel's been working pretty hard on this thing. What's been the most difficult part so far?
With these older trucks, you know, everything's pretty rusty, and these rusty bolts are probably the most difficult part about this whole thing.
If you're gonna be working on stuff like this, get yourself a can of PV Blaster, maybe a torch or a Sawzall and a die grinder so that you could get some of this old stuff off. We're not gonna be using any of this old hardware because Porterbuilt supplies you with everything you need to get this thing on the ground. So as you see here, Everything's labeled, everything's bagged up. We have all the hardware we need, bushings, and all the components. Everything is really beautifully made in America, all welded up, ready to go. Motor mounts, upper control arms, transmission cross member, you know, all the bracketry that you need to get this done. So this is just stuff for the front side. This is the front drop member, level 3. Underneath the table, we have our C notches, and everything else that we need is in this box for the rear end. It's pretty simple. You could do it in your garage. It's all bolt on. So what we do here is we bolt it all together, and then we go back and just kind of make it all in. Basically, this is gonna get cut off here to here. Our C notch is gonna get bolted on. So that way you have that, you know, that hump and that clearance for our rear end to come up inside of that C notch. So this frame is basically gonna be sitting on the ground once we're done. So we got a couple more things to do before we get started on the Porterbuilt kit, and that's gonna be in next episode. So for now, that's it. Make sure you're liking and subscribing our videos. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out. We'll see you guys later. Peace.
We got milk, so it's all good.